So we're jumping into the game from before that you folks voted on. And since this isn't actually the official start date, we'll probably hang around a little bit until people kind of filter in. But we're starting with the Reigns Leg game, which is a 2D game where you basically say yes or no with Tinder mechanics to determine whether or not you live or die in a political system. So if I preview this game really quickly, you'll see this is the basics of it. So you have the character in the middle, resource bars along the top. When you grab your character and go left or right, you'll say yes or no. And when you let go of them, they'll go away, and you'll get the next character to come in with more options, is what it's supposed to be eventually. So there's Boo. There's Jeffrey back again. And so this is what we're working with right now. You can download this game from the link that's shared in the previous video, but when this stream is over, we'll have another link for the updated version of the game. Oh, I got Matt 4 times in a row. Lorian, Matt, Jeff. Okay, cool. So that's the basics there. While we're waiting for people to funnel in, I kind of wanted to take a second to make it look a little nicer because it's been bugging me. So give me just a moment. While we're doing that, though, Boo, could you post on Twitter and get the poll going for the first mechanic that we'll be working on? It's just been bugging me a little bit that these have been so basic. Let me open up these here. There we go. Let's just take this and we'll do some simple gradient work here. This is a GIMP. It's also a free and open source program, but you don't need to have it. I just like it. No, let's do that properly. Okay. Save and overwrite. And then this here. $25. Cool. Save and overwrite. And an awesome thing about GDevelop is when you do that, you save and overwrite back into the same folder that your assets are in. They automatically affect the game without anything else needing to be done, which is awesome. This one, though, needs to be flipped. There we go. Cool. Okay, so we'll just drag that over a little bit. Over a little bit. Yeah, there. Now, they are hidden, but later on when you vote, you can probably just tell me about... Later on when you vote, you can pick things that will make it so that we show these while we're actually dragging the card back and forth. This is just a color game. I mean, the game has color. Okay. So let's give ourselves a 5-minute timer to start with. And when that voting's over, we'll get started properly. Okay. So that's there. Again, I'm going to clean it up a little bit to make it look nicer. Auto Sans, I love that text. But let's go for some white text and make it look nicer. Oh, no. I think I made it look worse. What's that look like in game? Yeah, that looks okay. Needs to go up a little bit though, so it's not interacting with the character. The timer is there so that when the timer is over, we'll jump in and actually start the game. If you want to right now, you can go over to Twitter and vote on what we're going to start with. Oh, Florian there in chat was saying, since the latest version, the sidebar is persisting your scroll. So it remembers your scroll for next time. So if I take an object and I go, oh, no. I have the object open in the properties panel and I scroll down, switch object, and then switch back. Yep, there we go. It remembers the position I was in. So if there's an object with a lot of behaviors and things, when you go back to that object, it'll be set properly again. Which is nice. It's a nice feature. Helps you navigate through the bar a bit. Somebody's asking, did GDevelop have a fighting game? There's a starting template for fighting game. Yeah. If we go to create, there's a basic prototype version of a fighting game, beat 'em up right here, as well as lots of like shooting games and tank games and all sorts of things. And I believe there's a couple templates too. If I go fighting, yeah, there's turn-based fighting, and then there's a fighting one that's a paid template by Vegetato. But yeah, you can check those out if you're interested. Okay. 1 minute left, folks. If you go to Twitter, you can go vote on the next mechanic, and we'll find out what it is. Or, well, the first mechanic, because we haven't actually started yet. These have also bugged me a little bit. Bars here. Because they're straight up and the resource for it is sideways. I don't think we have time to fix that within less than a minute, but maybe next time. In Reigns, they actually use icons, so we could probably do something like that next time as well. What we can do is hide these labels. Or are they already hidden? Yeah, they're already hidden. Okay, good. Good. Move this down a little bit. This is where the card actually spawns into the game. So if we do, yeah, there we go. So left, right, oh, no. Up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So we got the text here above us and left, right. Cool. All right. The timer just ran out for me. So Boo, could you tell me what the next mechanic is? Or where we're going to get started? I'm not going to read the chat while I'm working on the next mechanic, folks. Oh, mobile compatibility. I'm not going to read the chat while I'm working on the next mechanic, but if you leave any questions in the chat, Boo will take them up and I will answer them during the next break. Mobile compatibility. Okay. So, let's get started there. So the way it's set up right now is basically just the way that you would do it for a desktop game, right? So it's wide like this. So what we want to do is make it for a mobile game. Right now we also have it so that the screen resolution doesn't change, to make it really simple to edit the game without having to worry about anchoring and all that stuff. So we're gonna make it adjust. Let's think now. The width. The width will adjust to fit the screen, so the height stays the same regardless of the device. Yeah. So change the width. Set it to. Where's it to? Where's vertical? Oh, the option's not here anymore. Florian, are you still there? Or Boo, one of you tell me. Where did the option for vertical or horizontal go? Game dashboard? No. Okay. Okay, Florian, could you tell me where the option for vertical versus horizontal by default went for mobile phones? Top of game properties. Oh my gosh. Sorry, folks. It's right in front of me. So instead of portrait, instead of landscape that we're at now, which would be like a desktop sort of setup, we're going to go with portrait. Apply. All right. Thanks. Okay, so now when I start the game and I preview it, now that we've changed those settings in the game properties, you can see it here. It's a full-size screen. If I take it and shrink it down, when I change the width, so on a mobile phone, this would be a vertical phone, for example, you'd have it straight up and then the width would change. So the width of the screen is changing when I change the width. The actual game is changing. It's not trying to change the size of the screen to match or maintain size. It's actually stretching or getting bigger or smaller. If I change it back, I'll show you really quickly what that does. No change to game size. This is the difference. So when I squish it, it tries to stay the same size. See that? And see the black bars around it to make it work? So if we change it and go to properties, back down to adjust based on the width. Okay. So there we go. All right, so now we need to make it center on, make the camera for the base layer center so that when I change the size like this, we still see this part of the screen. So what we'll do for that is we'll just make an event and just leave it running all the time, essentially, and make it so that the camera X position, camera center X position, so the center of the camera going horizontally is, what's that object in the middle called? This one, center of scene. We'll use that so we can tinker with it later. Center of scene, center position. Center X. Okay, so now the camera's center is on the center of that center object. So preview. Now when I change the screen, whoop, there we go. The game is actually adjusting along with it. And when I do this, there we go. And because we have the bars here going over the screen, right, like this, when I drag the character, they're still going to hit these collision bars and say yes or no to the answer. So like that. Oh, there we go. How are we doing that? in collision with answer. Let me check the collision mask. No, that's good too. Was I just unlucky in getting the same one randomly every time? That might be the case. Yeah, I think I was just... Yeah, I was just unlucky. I got Matt like 4 times in a row. Okay. Cool. Awesome. And that's essentially it, because it's already set up in a way for mobile phone or mobile games, because it's using the... If I go into the events here, it's using the draggable object behavior for the character, and the draggable object behavior works with the mouse, and the first button press, or the first touch on a touchscreen device, is treated like a mouse. So it's already mobile compatible. We just need to make it so that the screen adjusts to fit the size of the screen. I don't think there's anything else that we would need to do to make it more mobile compatible, because that's essentially it there. Mechanics work. Yeah, that's it there. Okay. Boo, could you make the new poll on Twitter? And then I'll have a look at any questions that might be there in chat. I will start a timer here. And go. Cool. So 5 minutes to answer questions and wait for the next vote to happen. When the vote is up on Twitter, there we go. Awesome. You can click on that link in the chat and hop over and vote on what we do next. Person who just asked in chat, the next break is right now. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask and I will go answer. But also during this break, you can head over to Twitter and get Twitter to help you out, and use Twitter to vote for the next mechanic that we'll do. Let me see. I have a question. Okay, so somebody in chat asked, I have a question. When I resize an object in my pixel art, it looks blurry. Yes. So pixel art is very finicky, because if you don't maintain the proper ratio, it'll get all messed up. Let me find a good example here. I mean, these are pixel art characters, but they've been blown up to be a bigger size. How would I do this? I guess I can just grab a new one. Character from the asset store. Grab these folks at their actual size. Okay. So I'll take this person and see how small they are. I zoom all the way in. Okay. So this is what they look like right now, like this. But if you don't maintain the proper ratio, for example, making sure that they're the exact same height and width, they will get stretched and the pixels will deform, because they're not actual pixels anymore. If that makes sense, they're not squares. They're now being stretched out to rectangles. So first they got to maintain that ratio, but also let's reset it back to where it was. Is that the normal size? Yeah. But also you should also maintain whatever size it is. You double it, triple it, or quadruple it instead of just randomly changing the size, because again, if you randomly change the size, the pixels will be a different they won't be true pixels. They won't be proper squares. There'll be some variation of a square, and it'll create some not artifacting, but some visual noise. So yeah, if you take this and times it by 2, for example, that would be fine. And if you times that by 2, that size would be fine, because the pixels are still squares, if that makes sense. But also, there's a tricky thing in GDevelop that a lot of people don't realize. In the property settings, game properties, here. So when you have this set to linear, any new assets that get added to your game that's not from the asset store will be set to smoothing. And if it's set to nearest, any new assets added to your game that are not from the asset store will be set to not smoothing. So if I go to the resources and go to this new character here, this is the smoothing option here. So when I turn it on, it looks horrifying. And when I turn it back off again, it's smooth. And that's just the two different options for high resolution games and then crisp pixel art. Because with a high resolution game, the smoothing you actually want to have, because it'll make the edges look nicer. Whereas with a low resolution game or a pixel art game, you want to have the smoothing off to make the edges nice and crisp. So hopefully that answers your question there in chat. Get rid of that character. And save. Okay. 5 seconds left. I'll go back through the chat next break to answer some questions. But yeah, that's the time up. Aurelio, could you let me know what the Twitter poll said? Improve talking character. Oh, there has been a miscommunication. Apparently, something went wrong. All right, but improve talking character. Well, okay, so there is no talking yet, but we can jump in and do it anyways. So when the character shows up in Reigns, when they show up first, they talk. So that's with the sound effect and with like the text scrolls over like a typewriter effect, and the character kind of like bounces a little bit, like my avatar in the corner, if you can see me bouncing. So what we'll do is we'll add those things in, the bounce and the typewriter effect, and then we can use that to make the talking part really nice. And then we'll have to go back and add the talking actually into it. So if I go into... Actually, this was a good chance for me to ask the AI something. We're not going to use the AI to build anything in this round, but I wanted to ask it something because I'm curious about whether or not it's able to handle something that I think it should be able to handle. So I'm going to ask and make a new chat. So something that's a big problem, honestly, with GDevelop, to be just transparent, the number of extensions is kind of a lot. There's a lot of things that you can do with extensions in GDevelop, and there's a ton of features and things that people just don't realize they have access to. So I'm going to ask the chatbot, or the helper AI, to tell me what extension I should use for this thing. So I'm in the ask mode. What extension should I use to make my character bounce and my text type out like a typewriter? Let's see what it says. Oh, okay. I mean, that's fair. It says it wants more information about how the character moves. Okay. And it also gave us for the typewriter input, you can use the auto-typing animation for text typewriter effect extension, which is exactly the one that I wanted to use. But also there's another one that I wanted to check for. The character is just a bouncing or a floating card that I want to wobble in place. for a time. Let's see if it'll pick the right extension. I have one in mind that I use for like everything, but whoop. Okay, let's see. You can use the shake. Yeah, it did. So it did find the right behavior. This one's called the shake object behavior. So goodbye, AI. Thank you very much. So for the text here, we'll start with the typewriter effect. Typewriter, auto-typing text. Bam. So that's in there now. Time between characters, we can set that if we want to, but otherwise we'll just press apply and see what happens. There we go, perfect. Writes it out. And we can change the time between steps to make it faster or slower. That seemed a little bit slow, honestly. So we'll make it a little bit faster. Oh, no, not that fast. Let's go 2.5, half. There we go, perfect. Okay, so that came out pretty good. And then the next one was the behavior for object shake. So we'll go to the characters here, and object shake was the name of the behavior. Do we want scaling? Yeah, we can use scaling. We'll use scaling as well. So we'll use the object shake with the angle and scale option. Let me go to behaviors, copy this, and then also give it to the other characters in the that are cards. And there we go. Now when they show up, we want them to start talking, and then we want them to stop talking, ideally when the text finishes. So let's start a new event here, down below. Oh, no, that's a lie. Picking a new card. So right here, when we get a new card coming in, yes, right here. So this is the point where new card comes in to screen. That's after we've picked the card. So in here, we can add in another section where when this card is done, yeah, that's right. When this card is picked, we will shake it. So we have a group for all of these already. So cards and shake. So we're doing the position, angle, and scale shake. And this is pretty great. Let's see. So duration, we'll just set that to 0 because we're gonna try to make it infinite and make it stop when the typing stops. So the amplitude for the X, I'd like to just do 10 as oh, you know what? No, I don't want that. Let's go random float in range. Nope, sorry. The best is definitely random with steps. That's what we wanted. So 10, 10, 20. So what this does right here, it's hard to see unfortunately, but random with steps, what it does is it takes the first number and the second number, and then the third number is the distance between the things, so the steps. So what I have set up right here right now, if I change this to negative, instead of just 10, is it goes from -10 to 10 is the range, but it uses 20 as the step, which is the whole distance. So when it fires off, it will either go to -10 or 10, one or the other. So simple one or the other to go with, and do that here and do that here. So we'll do that for Y and the angle and the amplitude. Oh, actually, no, the amplitude maybe, we don't want it to shake. Amplitude of the shake. Scale shake. We don't want it to scale too much because that would look ugly. So we'll just do 4 like that. And duration between shaking, make it kind of natural, so 0.25. Keep shaking until stop, yes. So, okay. So now when the character's made, or not made, but brought into the scene, we should be able to See it shaking. There we go. Awesome. And when I get rid of it, oh, there we go. The next person is also shaking. And it goes away. Awesome. So that's done there. Now we need to stop shaking when the typing stops, which I think will be a new event. Yeah. Typing stop. Let's go with the object here. Find the character text. Has just typed finish typing. So there's a condition with that new extension for the auto typing that's called finish typing, which is great for us because then we can use that, and then we can go for the character, for the cards, stop shaking. Stop shaking the object. Perfect. So now it should shake only while the text is going. Boom. Stopped. Perfect. Way too long though. We only want it like a and then stop. So let's make this even faster. Maybe 16 seconds? 16? Not seconds, but. And this will stop when that stops. So let's see. Yeah, that's pretty good. Change the bouncing though, because we want it to go up. So instead of having it go, let's see. No, down would be fine. How would we do that? I think we need to change the origin point, maybe? No. To make it wobble and go up more. I'm not sure, but maybe when we tweak things later, we'll be able to make that a little nicer. Because I would like to bounce kind of like my head. If you look on the stream right now, you see my head bouncing up down. It jumps up a little bit when it starts. Well, I'll think about some way to do that, maybe for the next, maybe for a task later on. But that's a good start there, I think. So we have the character bouncing up and down. I need to remember that in screen. Oh, the text is above the character. Hold on. That shouldn't be the case. What is this to? Let's set this to 0. And these should also be below the character. So set those to 0 as well. There we go. Okay, so now they're above the, okay, cool. And while we're at it, making everything look nice and cool, can I go here and add effect? 2D effect, drop shadow. Hold on, I might be spoiling a later task, so let's not do that. Let's just stop there and move on to the next one. Let me check. I'm gonna have a look at the potential tasks. Just to double check. Bear with me for just a moment. But we'll do the next vote in a second, so feel free to ask in the chat something while I'm doing this, and I will get to it once I check this really quick. Oh, I see. So, Boo, sorry, a good drink of water. There we go. Boo, for the next vote, could you do the options add lose condition, add text as variable, and improve dragging effect? Awesome, thank you. So yeah, those will be the next 3 options, folks. If you go to Twitter now in a second, once the link gets shared, the options will be add a lose condition, so we can like actually start making gameplay mechanics here. Add text as a variable, so that the characters, when they show up, they'll use text from their object in the text object, so that they'll like say something. Or improve the dragging effect to make it, add some flair to it. So add when you pick up the character, they do a little thing, or we add a drop shadow, like you just picked up the card, or maybe we'll add it so that when you're dragging the card, but you don't actually put it to one of the choices and let go, it'll snap back to where it was supposed to go, or where it started to. We'll do things like that. So votes there. Yep, there it is now. The vote's there now in chat, folks. So if you click on that, you'll go to Twitter and you can vote on the next mechanic, and we'll do that. But in the meantime, I'll set a 5-minute timer. There we go. Awesome. And while that timer's going, I'll have a little look in chat and see what's going on. Okay. Oh, looks like somebody asked in chat, can we make 3D games in GDevelop? And obviously, yes. Actually, it's not, I shouldn't say obviously. GDevelop until recently didn't really have a 3D engine, but now it is a full 3D engine. It has a full 3D engine with 3D physics, with Jolt as the built-in physics engine, and so much going on. So if I go over here to the Create menu, you'll see right here, just as soon as you press Create, you'll see there's a 3D platformer and a 3D first-person game and a 3D driving game, because there's also a driving car behavior that uses Jolt, the 3D physics engine, to create a 3D game with a driving car. I guess that's obvious. But also in here, there's 3D models for dragging on a board, 3D endless platformer, a flight simulator so you can fly around with a plane. There's also one that's really fun down here. These are all starter games, by the way. These are the ones that are just kind of bare bones, and you can build off of them to make your own game because all the assets in them are CCO or made by us, so they're safe to use. Right here, the 3D tank game is a fun one to use to play. Well, fun to play, but also fun to build off of and blow things up. Cool. What's the next question there? Oh, the else event block. Okay, yeah. So there's a question there from somebody asking about the else event block, apparently. And if I go here into the scene, I haven't had a lot of time to practice with this yet myself, but if you right-click, or I believe here you click on this icon, along the top, you can go down to else, right here. So this will add an else event block into your game, and it'll be right here. And so basically what it does is it checks for the one above it. So if this event does trigger, this one won't. But if this one doesn't trigger, this one will. So basically that's how an else condition works. If this, do the thing. Else, do this thing. And that's how it works. Simple as can be. It's pretty awesome, and it only came out recently. So if you get a chance to tinker with that, I definitely encourage you to try. Okay. Now we got 2 minutes left. Let's have a look at chat here. Going through, let me see. Somebody asked, or well, said, they have 0 experience and want to create a game for TV, 3D open world game. Well, you can do that, but it's kind of a running joke with game development that if you want to make if you want to end up not making a game, make like an MMO open world RPG game, and you won't make a game because it's too big. So definitely think about scope. but it's definitely possible to do in GDevelop. There's lots of 3D games out there now, so you can check those out. Like I said, with the starter projects, those are there, and we've held jams and things that you can see sort of the quality of the 3D games that are being made with GDevelop. If you're using GDevelop for the first time ever, and you've never used it before, I suggest on our YouTube channel, the channel you're on maybe right now if you're on YouTube and not Twitch, on the homepage of that channel, there's an intro tutorial playlist that is also auto-dubbed into a bunch of different languages. But it covers everything basically you need to know about the engine. Not 3D specifically, but like what objects are, how the event sheet works, how to export your game, even optimization. There's a video in there about optimization, how to make your game run better. So check that out. That's a pretty good place to start if you have zero experience and you want to start making games with GDevelop. Oh, okay. That's the timer up. So Aurelien, or Boot, could you tell me what the next mechanic is? Improved dragging effect. Okay. All right. So, improved dragging effect. Let's see. So what this will basically mean is that when if you've ever played Reigns, when you drag the card back and forth, you can see that the card is lifting a little bit off the scene and it's kind of angling in the direction you're moving it in. So we're going to try to do something like that. So when the cards move in, we're going to... What's the best way to do this now? The best way to do this would probably be with a new event, obviously. Dragging effect. So, well, the first one that I mentioned was the going back to where it was. So we could use a tween that when you let go of the card, it shoots back to where it's supposed to go, or a lerp. And I think a tween might be the... No, lerp. Lerp will probably be the easiest. So let's take this condition here. Condition was just dropped. Or card was just dropped. And let's go for cards group, event group again. And we'll change the position of the object. Now, lerp is one of those really cool expressions that it takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's really cool. It's just so cool. You'll see. So if I type in lerp in the expression, expression finder. Let's see, lerp. So we have it between two angles or just linear lerp. So what we'll do is, so A, B, and C, if I press apply here. So the first one is the position it's currently in. The second one is the position I want it to be in. And then the third one is how fast. So the first position is the card X position. There we go. And then the second one is another X position, but it is the center object. I'll use the center thing again. Center of scene, X. And then I'll use 0.05 is typically like the the one I use. Thank you, Zero. I see you there in chat. Expression Builder. I appreciate that. This here is called the Expression Builder. I love it. I should not have forgotten the name. Okay, so that's the X position. And I'll put it in for the Y position. So the same expression, but I'll use Y instead. So the card Y, that Y. Okay. There we go. And that should, if I go here now, hold on. Yeah, when the card was dropped. Oh, the card was just dropped. Let's change that to actually cards dragged, being dragged. So instead of dropping it, we'll use the is being dragged condition and we'll invert it. That way it's basically saying if it's not being dragged. Oh, wait, Oh, hold on. That's not going to be, that's going to affect all of them in the game scene. If I do this, yeah, they're all going to get pulled over. Okay, that's not right then. In that case, let's use the just dropped. Or hold on, maybe we'll use something else then. Right now we have a scene condition to see the state, but let's add a variable to these folks here. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll add a variable to the cards called picked. Yeah, let's go with picked. Or is picked. Or is current. Current card. Let's go with current card. It could be whatever you want it to be. And we'll go with a Boolean and set it to false by default. And now when I did that to the group of the objects, so they're all here. And that means that all of the objects now have that variable added to them. So they all have variable current card added to them. And if I go into the event sheet now, let's go for pick card. So the one that gets picked, we'll set that one to, where we did. Change the object variable of current card, set that to true. Okay. So now when it's picked, it will be, yeah. So when it's picked, new card comes in the screen, it'll be set to true as the current card. And then when it's not picked anymore, or well, the other cards in the scene, we will set this to false. So all of the other cards that aren't being picked right now are going to get set to false. They're going to get pushed over to the side. And then when the new card comes into the scene, it will be set to true. So that we know that one's the true card, the one that we're using. So we'll use that as the variable. Nope, not state. Nope, my bad. Cards. Variable. Object variable value, yep. Current card. Awesome. So if the current card variable is set to true, so that that is the card, and it's not being dragged anymore, then it will go back to this position. So let's make sure that worked. Nope. Okay. Well, it's over a little bit. Oh, because I didn't use the center. My bad. My bad. So I used the X position. I should have used the center X position. Center X position for both of these, and the center Y position for both of these. There we go. So we'll use the center of both objects instead of the origin point, which is the top left corner. Nope, it went away. Center X. Center X. Center Y. Center Y. Why you no work? Hold on. If I disable that by pressing D on the keyboard, it works. So something wrong with this. Oh, Zero has a good point there. There is an action to change the center point. This one, center position. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Actually, that should have continued to be center. Either way. Okay. Ah. So now I let go. There we go. Awesome. So when I let go, it goes back to the point. Thank you for that 0. That helped. Oh. So yeah, when it doesn't touch the sides and I let go, it goes back to that point. And actually, that's a good point right there to bring up. So I think that will be the last vote. And I'm going to spend the rest of the time finishing this mechanic up and then answering some questions in chat. But what would be really nice to do with this dragging effect is also make these visible, like I talked about before. So if we do, let's see, another event, but this time is being dragged. How would we do this? So is being dragged for the answers. Distance. Nope, that's wrong. Opacity. Sorry. 255. Okay, so change the opacity of the answer set to 255. But we're not going to use 255. We're going to use the distance from the card to the object. 255. Let's go minus distance between objects. Distance between two objects. So the answer and the card. Nope, the pick card. Ooh, this is going to be trickier than I thought. So we also need to make sure that the card that we're picking is the true card, the one that we're actually trying to affect. So we'll use that same condition here. So this is affecting both of these now. Yeah, this is still part of the dragging effect. So when it is being dragged, or no, I guess it doesn't need to be dragged. Yeah, get rid of that. Change the opacity of the answer set to 255 minus the distance between the cards. The distance between the card and here, so that distance is huge. So you'd have to get to like right here for that to be true value. So we don't want that. But maybe we'll divide that by 4. See what that's like. There we go. So now 255 is the full value a card could be. So 255 means it's fully visible. And then anything lower than that is more transparent. And then 0 is gone, hidden. So at the beginning of the scene, we have... Are we not hiding these? Oh, we have their opacity turned down all the way. Let's turn these back up and see what happens. Okay, so when I grab this card, hey, there we go. Ah, look at that. First try. Just don't scroll back in the video and look at the other stuff. First try. Okay, cool. But we don't want it that bright, so we want it to be less than that. So let's go, instead of 255, let's go half opacity. So 255 divided by 2 is roughly 125? Not even close. Okay, so preview. Let's see what we got. Hey, look at that. That's, come on, chat, look at that. That's great. That's great. So this is yes, and this is no. And so when you're given, when we eventually get to the point where we have text here and the character's asking us to do something, and we say yes or no, right? And that'll affect the resources that we have here. This will help us see what we're actually doing, and kind of also see where the area is that we can, when we're good to say yes and when we're good to say no. Awesome. So let's just doop, doop. Hey, that's perfect. Okay. It's a little bit off screen. That's unfortunate. Okay. Cool. There we go. All right. So I think we'll stop there with that because I have to get going soon. But I can answer some questions before I go for the next like 10 minutes. So I'm going to go through chat and have a look, and then I will close out the stream there. But let me see. Oh gosh. Let me see. Oh, somebody's saying they wanted to report a bug. The forums are the best place to report bugs. For anybody who's watching, the forums over there. And then after you've confirmed that it is definitely a bug and it's not just your computer, pop over to the GitHub and submit a bug report on GitHub. But start with the forums first, check to see if anybody else has an issue, and then proceed from there. Somebody said, I know this is a different game idea, but in a top-down RPG template, can I make more than one battle? Oh, I wish I knew what you meant or had more context. Yeah, you could definitely make more than one battle. I mean, you could... How would I do that? I'd probably use an external layout or another scene, and then just change it based on the change the one that you're using based on the battle you're having in different areas and things. Sorry, I wish I had more context there. Okay, somebody else has another question. How well will the yes/no work on a mobile device with limited room on the sides? Oh, it should be fine. That should be fine. So right here, this is the collision. Let me grab a card. And this is the card. So you would have to have a really skinny card, really skinny phone to not have that work. Right? Like if you grab your thumb here and you're dragging it from this point and pull over, like that's the collision line right there. Right? The edge of the object. Because the collision for this is the entire size of the object. So I'd be very surprised if you would have any issues on any mobile phones, because that's where the collision starts. I might actually update that image because it looks like it doesn't quite start that far over, but yeah, I'll update that before I send it out to people, and link it into the chat. So I think we got to stop there, folks, but thank you for hanging out and coming over. Again, if you have a chance, look along the bottom of the screen. There's a discount code for a yearly subscription, and the yearly subscription is already a discount because the monthly subscription is more expensive than the yearly one. So you got a discount on top of a discount, and yeah, it's valid for today only. So go ahead and use it. The Nightbot has a link to it, so if you click on the link, it should be applied automatically. And you can scroll back to the beginning of the scene or the beginning of the video where I show how to actually use the discount code in the engine. Besides from that, this game will be shared on social media and stuff. Well, no. This game will be shared on this video. So it'll be in the description and it'll be in the pinned comment and everything like that. And it'll be there for people to use and build off of if they want to. Up to this point, all of the assets in this game are CCO, so you can freely use them for whatever you want to build for. Obviously, don't make Reigns and call it Reigns, because that's not cool. But you can build your own game off of this if you want to. And that'll be up in a couple of hours after I clean up the file a little bit to make sure that there's nothing janky in there. Yeah, cool. And that's everything for now. And I'll see you all, folks, next week. Bye.